Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to my knitting podcast. Today's the 15th of December. It's been about 2 weeks since I last recorded a video and I've got some pretty good stuff to show you. So I got 3 finished objects and 2 works in progress. So let's just start. My first finished object is the stick season sweater designed by Rebecca Clow, I think, of the CreaBea knitting podcast. And I made this out of Holst Super Soft Held Double. And yeah, I finished it. I'll put it on. I wasn't wearing it earlier just because it's quite hot in my house today. I live in a narrow and tall house, and this room is on the top floor, and the kitchen and the basement always is very, very cold, and it's always pretty hot up here. So yeah, it's quite hot. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see. Maybe if I get up close, you'll be able to see it a bit better. So this is the stick season pullover. It's a drop shoulder, top down design. Can you see the back there? Loosely inspired, I think, by Ganzis, which is why it has sort of the patterning up to here. I made it using stash yarn. I've had this cone of Black Hole Super Soft, I think for 4 years, and I finished it to the point I actually had to buy some yarn to finish this project. And I really like this finished object. I've been wearing it a lot. I have found that the black, I mean, I guess this is just as with any black jumper, but it really picks up like pieces of fluff and hair from my cat and whatever else. So that's a little bit annoying. I don't really care about that too much. Other than that, I really like the yarn as it is after being washed. I talked in my last episode about how this was kind of a nightmare to knit on because of the spinning oil, and there was a lot of excess dye in it as well. So it would turn my hands black when I was knitting on it, and the oil would get everywhere, and I was allergic to the oil. So I was having these problems with my fingertips, like all the skin was peeling off if I worked on it too much. But I pushed through, although maybe I shouldn't have. And yeah, I do think in the future I'll need to probably wash the Holst before I use it. And I might not buy another cone, but I think that the finished yarn is so beautiful, and I enjoy the way it transforms once you block it and wash the oil out. It's really exciting. I would lose if I washed it before I knit with it. It's also very affordable. I think when I bought this it was like $35 for a cone, and the cone is 10 skeins. I actually have the naked cone somewhere in here. It'll pop up, I think. So yeah, and I bought some extra black just because I have another work in progress that I'm using this yarn for as well. So I thought I may as well just get enough to finish that project as well. That's a longer term project. It's the Ellsworth wrap. I'll just show you because it's right in front of me. It's the Ellsworth wrap by Scott Rohr, and I think for Brooklyn Tweed, but there's 3 panels that look like this, and they're all different combinations of short row wedges, and I made this in Holst Super Soft, so this is just one of 3, and then you seam them all together. This hasn't been washed yet. So I needed more black yarn to finish that project. So I just bought enough for that to be done. And yeah, this used just under 500 grams of yarn. I knit the body 2 inches longer. I think I did. I'm sitting on the floor today. So here, I'm kneeling, but this is how long it is. And this is how long the sleeves are. Look at my nail polish. It's pretty. So yeah, that's this finished object. I think this is the fastest I've ever knit a jumper. It took me about 3 weeks, and halfway through I had to wait for more yarn to arrive. I just really wanted this. I really wanted the finished object. I did put a little bit of elastic in the neck just because one thing that I found about all of the drop shoulder patterns that I've made is that the neck hole is really big, and it was just kind of, it wasn't gaping, but it was too big when I was, like, after I'd already folded the neckline over. So I just put a little bit of, I think 3/4 inch or 1/4. I just put a little bit of elastic that I got at a fabric shop into the neck and tied it. So if I ever get sick of that, I can undo it. I know that the like thick collar, kind of high on the neck look is a current trend, so I can always take it out if I don't want that anymore, which is a nice option to have. And this has been getting a lot of wear. It has about 8 inches of positive ease on me. I really like the way that it fits, although I have said recently that I'm sick of drop shoulder sweaters, and I kind of am. I'm really itching to cast on a raglan, which I will do, but I did enjoy the making process of this a lot. Here's the swatch that I made. I think my gauge was a little bit bigger than in the pattern. It was either 19 stitches per, I think I had 19 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And I think the intended gauge was 20. So, but my gauge, I didn't take gauge for this top section, which I probably should have. And my gauge for that was much looser than for the stockinette. I don't think that that's affected the fit negatively in any way, but it was something that I realized once I started knitting the stockinette, just how much tighter my stitches were there. Before I had washed it, this top part was quite see-through, but now it's not really. I mean, if I stretch it out, you can see, but if I'm not stretching it out, then it's really not see-through. And also, like, a lot of store-bought wool sweaters are a little bit see-through if you strain your hand against them. So I'm not complaining about it at all. When I first knit this, the sleeves were too long, and my elbow has kind of like made room for itself. So now I think the sleeves are actually a really good length, although maybe this is a bit shorter than some would want. And the other thing I wanted to say is that in one of Roxanne Richardson's videos, who is a really, really great knitting YouTuber, she talks about how a good way to make the sleeve shape for a drop shoulder better is sometimes to put the decreases on the top of the sleeve. I didn't do that, but I think if I made another one, I would. I also, like the drop shoulder comes down quite far on me, comes down to about there. So I might, if I was to make another one, make a size down, but I love the length. And I do really like the fit of the body as well, so I don't actually know if I would change anything. A really well-written pattern, I think, and fairly intuitive as well. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. I've enjoyed making it, and I love the final object, and I would make this as a gift for someone, I think. because it's sort of like, it was like an engaging knit, but it wasn't too complex. And it still has like big swaths of stockinette to knit. So yeah, it used, did I already say it used about 495 grams of Holst Super Soft held double? If not, there you go. Oh, and there's just one end that I haven't woven in yet. I don't know why, but there's a look at the back detail. You can see all the stuff that's on it. And then here is the front. .5mm needles. On the neck ribbing, I used 3mm. On the sleeve ribbing, I used 4mm. And on the body, I used 3.5. I wanted the neck ribbing to be tight, the sleeve ribbing to be loose, and the body ribbing to be in the middle. So that's the explanation. Yeah, I love that sweater. I really do. And I think that the more rustic the yarn, the nicer the sweater will be. I really love the marled ones I've seen and the natural colors. I just think that they're so beautiful. I've seen a couple in mohair that I like, but not as much as I like the rustic ones. My next finished object is totally new. You haven't seen it before. It's a small one, and I made it because we got a Christmas tree / Hanukkah bush, and I wanted to make something to put on the very top of it. So I thought I'll make this bow using 2 mini skeins that I had gotten. They're both from Hedgehog Fibers. One of them was a potluck skein, which I think is just what they call one of a kind, and the other one was in the color cedar, and it was their sock base. I held them together to make like a DK-ish weight, and I made the December bow, which is by PetiteKnit. So here it is. I think it's getting a little bit like darkened by the weird lighting that I have. Here's the back. Doesn't look that good from the back, but I just put it on a hair tie that I have. So yeah, this goes at the top of the Christmas tree. It looks a little bit weird up there, but I think weird in a charming way. I'm not normally a huge PetiteKnit fan, but I thought this was a cute little pattern. And yeah, I changed the cast on and bind off so that the edges were neater. I don't know if you'll be able to really see, but for the cast on, I did a 3-stitch I-cord, and then I knit a couple rounds of that, and then I picked up the 3 I-cord stitches from the tail end and then increased from those 6. So because I wanted to get a really smooth beginning for that. And for the end, when I was down to the 6 stitches at the end, I knit one of the sides. So I elongated one of the I-cords by I think 2 or 3 rows, and then I Kitchener stitched. Oh no, I actually did an inside out 3-needle bind off so that the seam is sort of on the inside and it's super invisible, I think. Here, let's see. Yeah, just a really neat edge that I like. I was a little bit short on yarn since I was using the two 20-gram minis held together though, so I had about 100 meters of yarn. But I think it looks good. I was about 1 inch short. And I like the way that the two colors have marled together. The base color of one, the potluck skein, was like this teal with pink and white and orange variegation. And then the other one was a really similar teal. So it sort of muted the pink and white and orange a little bit. So yeah, I think that once it's not serving as the top of our tree ornament, I'll maybe wear it as a hair bow. Might be a little bit too big, but I think that I can make it work. So yeah, this was a really fast project and I enjoyed it. And I would recommend it. There's instructions for how to sew it together at the end to get a really nice result, which I really appreciated. And because it's not just tying it like a bow, because you knit this extra little piece to go in the middle. So that's my second finished object. And I would call that one a success as well. I've had some successful knitting over the past 2 weeks. This last finished object is extremely exciting, and I'm sure if you're a returning viewer, you will be relieved that I have finished it. And it is the Colourwork Nutiden sweater that I have been working on since the beginning of June. It's done. I finished it like 2 days ago. It is based on the Semper sweater by the Knit Purl girl, which I didn't love the pattern of as I was knitting it. I just found it to be really wordy, to the point where it was hard to process the information. If you are new to knitting, or you like things to be thoroughly explained, then it would probably be a great pattern. It just didn't really suit me for what I was looking for, which was a raglan that was quite thoroughly designed to have nice shaping in the increases. So yeah, it did deliver that, but I just found it to be not the way that I prefer to read patterns, I guess. I was also knitting it at a much different gauge than the pattern called for, because I was just using 2 strands of Nutiden and I had applied my own Colorwork chart to it, which I just drew up in whatever that website is called, where you can make knitting charts. It's not complicated or anything. It was loosely inspired by the Dot sweater by Annie Wetzel, but she's not a size-inclusive designer, so I wasn't very interested in making any of her patterns. And I thought that I could find a pattern that had nicer shaping anyway and just apply my own colorwork design to it and use up a lot of my Nutiden, because when I was purchasing Nutiden, I was always getting the lucky, Lucky Charms, the Millens, where they blend colors, or sometimes they'll just send you like a little nugget of one of their colors. And I loved those because I loved seeing all the different colors in person. But it just got to a point where I had so much Nutiden and the marketing was really quite aggressive, so I decided to cease to be a patron of their Patreon, I guess. And I'm still working through all the Nutiden I have and enjoying it. Although the end of the sleeves, this was kind of a arduous knitting journey, the sleeves on this, I'll say. But I still have loads left, and I do enjoy the colors a lot. Yeah, so this is, I guess, my first all-over Colorwork jumper, which is really exciting for me. It took a very long time. It's quite a difficult yarn to work with, I found, because you can't really tension it, and I prefer to knit Colorwork one hand holding each color, but I couldn't really use my left hand to tension the yarn because it would break the Nutiden. So that was why it went quite slowly, especially in the sleeve since it's quite stiff. I had to, like, every half turn of the sleeve I had to turn the sweater so that, because it's not a very drapey fabric at all. This is a gift. It is a gift that has already been given for the last night of Hanukkah, which was last night. And I gave it to my boyfriend. It was originally going to be a gift for my dad, but he has a very itchy neck, so I didn't think that he would be able to wear it. And I was kind of annoyed at him recently as well, so I didn't want to give him a big present anyway. My best friend is getting married, and I am one of her bridesmaids, and we are taking her for the bachelorette hen do away. She doesn't know I have a podcast, so I can tell you about this. So we're taking her to Berlin from Edinburgh, and yeah, it was a secret, and it's supposed to be a secret, and for all of the other people going on the trip, it's a secret. And my dad just told her where we were going. He said, "Oh, you excited to go to Berlin?" And she was shocked because she didn't know. And her fiance, who's also a really good friend, was laughing. And my dad was like, "Oh, I can't believe I told her." This is not the first secret thing he's ruined. He's such a big mouth. So I was very upset about it because it's my fault, kind of. Now everyone, like, I'm the weak link. I'm the reason she knows where we're going. And she decided that she didn't want to tell everyone else that she knows. So now I have to keep a secret from everyone else that the two of us are keeping the secret that she knows. It's very stressful. So yeah, I'm not going to give him a sweater after he ruined my big surprise. Plus, I don't think that he would like it as much or get enough wear out of it. And my boyfriend is already, I gave it to him yesterday, and he was wearing it today before I took it to record this video. So I think he's gonna get a lot of really good wear out of it. I love the marling and the color. I just had each side of the Colorwork was 2 strands of Nutiden, and I would just change one strand for either 1 repeat or 2 repeats, and then go into the other. And that was how I did the marling. I think it looks like a more complicated process than that, but it wasn't. And since I had a lot of different colors, there were a lot of really subtle transitions I was able to make. Like this blue section, it's a really smooth gradient from the white to the blue, but there's actually 3 different colors of blue in there that make it such a smooth transition. I love the parts where the dark and the light flip. The background color it changes half as often as the foreground color. And I didn't want to make transitions between colors that are next to each other in the rainbow. So that was one arbitrary rule that I had. So, like, you can see that the blue and the green are next to each other, but actually the blue is gone into the gray, and the green has come out of the purple, if that makes sense. And then I ran out of this gray for this project, so I bound off the sleeves with the green that I used here. I don't know if you'll really be able to see it, but yeah, I'll try it on, although I made the body length and the sleeve lengths to the measurements of my boyfriend so that it would fit him really well. Originally this was going to be for me, but it's so warm that I don't think I could ever wear it. I think it's just such a warm garment that I'm just too warm of a person to be able to get really good use out of it. So here's the sweater on me. Here's what it looks like. Crawling around on the ground. I'm very proud of this. I think that there's one part where my tension got a little bit weird, but I'm not going to block this. We'll just wash it at the end of the season and block it then, because it's just going to be such a faff. And it's not dirty, I don't think. I did a little bit of stockinette at the end of the ribbing to match the neck, which is stockinette curl. I think I saw a Caitlin Hunter pattern where she does this, and I really liked the effect because I wanted ribbing, but I also wanted that like nice curl. I didn't actually lengthen the body any from when I made it for myself, but I made the rib 3 inches longer. So, and it fits him beautifully. I'm really pleased with it. So yeah, the sleeves aren't exactly the same, but they're similar enough, and I wasn't worrying too much about it. The decreases are a little bit hectic, but I just, you know, I was having fun. I was playing with color. I would make another one. I don't have enough colors anymore to make one like this, but given the opportunity, I would do it again. I really had a fun time making this, and it's been a long process. It's taken me about 6 months. It also kind of hurts my wrist to work on. I think that the unspun with nothing held alongside it, it's just sort of a trigger for my wrist pain. So that's another reason that I'm glad to have it off of the needles. 4.5 millimeter needles for the Colorwork, and it used also 495 grams. These two sweaters use the exact same amount of yarn. So yeah, I think that this probably, I mean, it fits me with 0 inches of positive ease. So it's probably a 42-inch chest, because that's what my chest inch is. So yeah, something to keep in mind, I guess. When owner Achir sells sweater quantities, it's like 300 grams or 500 grams. But you can get, this is 500 grams, so like an all-over Colorwork sweater in 42 inches across the chest. That's long in the sleeves and long in the body is just under 500. So that could be good information if you're looking to buy some. I really enjoyed this. I'm very into color. That's maybe an arbitrary thing to say, but I just loved making all of those decisions, and I think that it's really nice. I'm happy with how it turned out. And the inside is also really, really gorgeous. Oh, there's an end I need to weave in. With this, I'll just tuck it into the Colorwork float and call it a day. I wove in all the important ends. Yeah. Very happy and proud of that. So now we're on to works in progress. And I have 2 to show you, although I did show you this Ellsworth. Right now it's an Ellsworth scarf, which I made. I knit this ages ago. Early podcast. I think this is a whip that predates me having a podcast. But you know, it's a scarf right now. And then when I make the other pieces, it'll be a shawl. There's no rush. And it's kind of a time investment. But you know, over I will keep chipping away at that. I haven't started the second one, but I will soon. The first work in progress that I'll show you is the Rising Dawn sock by Stephen West from his 2023 year of socks. And here it is. It's in linen stitch, I think. Although I haven't done linen stitch before. I'm knitting it on magic loop, 2.25mm needles, and the yarn is Woolly Mammoth sock yarn. It's not the hearth sock, it's just the normal sock in the color Christmas Larder. This was in a double sock kit, so it came with 2 mini skeins. And ever since I saw this pattern come out, I thought that this would be a good yarn to use with it. I don't really know why, but I still think so. It's kind of like a washed out yellow, and it's knitting up really nicely. I did a pretty short heel, a short leg on this, and I just chose to continue doing the linen stitch through the gusset. It's also, I mean, it's the same stitch in a different order vis-a-vis reinforcement, so I figured why not keep it going, have a bit of a different thing. The bottom of the foot is not patterned, and yeah, Stephen has just released the final pattern in the Year of Socks, and now I think that I've done 7. This is number 7, and there are 6 more to go, and I'm not going to be doing it next year, although I probably will keep going with the patterns from this year, because I don't know, I'm kind of stubborn in that way, even though I don't really want to make all the patterns, but I said I was going to do it, and I will. I'm not going to keep making videos for each one. That was sort of fun while I was doing it, and then it stopped being fun, and then I stopped recording the videos, but I think I have one more that I did record that I'll put up, maybe. The first one of those gets quite a lot of views, which is kind of surprising to me, but I like it. It's a fun video. Yeah, I really like this sock pattern more than a lot of the other ones. It's just a good all-over stitch pattern. The nature of linen stitch with all of the slipping is that it's somewhat reinforced anyway, so it's quite a good choice for a sock stitch, unlike some of the other ones. And yeah, I just do my own thing with the heel flap and gusset these days, because I've made so many of the socks from this series that it's nice to do my own thing. I'm looking forward to doing the next one, the it's like a basket weave. I think that will be nice. I keep noticing my posture because I'm sitting on the floor. I've been going to physical therapy for a shoulder injury, and most of what we're working on is my posture. And today one of the older women at physical therapy told me that, she said, "You really look like you're starting to straighten out." Because I was like doing the banded thingies against the wall, like you're holding a band and you're going like this. So that was, I guess, a compliment, but sort of a funny thing to say. But everyone there is so nice. I kind of love physical therapy, and they're really helping me with my shoulder pain. So yeah, I haven't made a lot of progress on this sock. I don't know. I'll keep working on them, and we'll update you soon. The yarn's very nice, and I enjoy doing magic loop for that. I have some slipper aspirations for the cast on list for next year. I just think it would be really nice to knit some slippers. What are the Elvis slippers? They're Colourwork. And in the line I have 50 weeks of socks, which I have. So I might make those because they seem like a good project. My final work in progress is my Geogradient. This is the wrong bag. This is my Geogradient. I am in clue 3. It's such a mammoth endeavor, but I like my version. I'm kind of sick of knitting on it, but I do think that I'm making a nice one. So, and now it's not all bunched up, so I can show you properly. Oh, I don't think I need to give a spoiler warning anymore, actually, because it's been quite long. It's been out for a long time. So here's the first half of my Geogradient, the central panel, and then here's clue 2. I think I'm losing like some of the likes, but well. And then here's clue 3. I modified this a little to make it a zigzag instead of a fishtail. But on the other side, I'm doing the fishtail. Just, I got kind of bored, so I thought I'd mix it up. And so that's the first side. The second side, I did clue 2, and then here is the clue 3. I'm just about to start these little stripes that I did on this side. And yeah. I really want to finish this in 2020. God, what year is it? 2023? Yes. I'd like to finish this in 2023. That is going to be tough, but this is my only big whip. It's kind of too big for me to wear, probably, because there's also a border, which I intend on doing, but here, get up a little so you can see. Here's sort of the scale on me. So it's pretty big. I'm knitting it at a larger gauge than the original pattern, so I'm not complaining about that. And I might switch up the border, or I might not. I don't really have a plan. I am knitting this in Nutiden as well. I'm using 5 colors instead of 4, and I'm really just doing my own thing with the colors. And sometimes I'm doing just lace weight. I think that that's really beautiful. I wish I'd done some sections of clue 3 in just lace weight, but I'll make up for it by doing a big lace weight section before I start the border proper. And then maybe having another one in there. So I have an idea of how to bring it all together. And then I'm thinking maybe instead of they're not dip stitches, but instead of the sort of this chunky stitches, I might crochet and do the granny square stitch. Because that, I think I saw a project that did that and it looked really nice. So I'm intrigued by that. I guess I'd have to make a swatch to see if my tension is good. But yeah, so I'm thinking something along those lines. Hopefully I'll be able to just show you next time I record because it will be done. But I like my shawl. I'm just a little bit tired of it, I guess. Every Nutiden that I use, I hold with a lace weight alpaca, or in the case of this green, that's a mohair. But that's just because I didn't have the right lace weight alpaca for that color and I didn't want to buy one. and they're from various places. The white is Holst Titanica, I got at a yarn swap. And then I think all of the others are Easiger, which I love that yarn brand. I love their alpaca one. This is what I'm using with this in the color Peacock. And it's making the Nutiden much easier to work with, which no complaints from me about that. So yeah, I'm just chipping away at this. I've made a spreadsheet, which is the number of the number of stitches in the row, the percentage of the section that I've done. Like row 1 is 9%, and section 3 each side is like over 200 rows, but every other row it gets smaller. So it I just wanted to know better, like a more accurate idea of what percentage through I was, because I'm really trying to get it done before the end of the year. I have a spreadsheet where I keep the yarn that I've purchased in both meters and grams, and the yarn that I've used in finished projects in both meters and grams. And sort of I calculate if I'm using more than I'm buying, which is ideal, because a couple years ago I was just buying way too much yarn and I wasn't happy with the way that I was purchasing. And right now I'm in the green, which is good. Finishing these 2 sweaters has helped my spreadsheet. I really haven't bought all that much yarn this year. But if I finish this shawl, that's going to be really good for my spreadsheet. It's funny the things that motivate us as humans to do things. Like, the spreadsheet doesn't matter. It's just an indication to me of, I guess it makes it puts into reality the amount of knitting that needs to be done to use the yarn that I'm buying. Like if I can't buy a fingering weight skein of yarn every time I go into a shop just because I feel like it, because that's like a lot of knitting. That's a lot of yarn. So yeah, it's really helped me get a better mental hold on that, I guess. And now my yarn collection is not getting bigger anymore. It's staying the same, which is nice. So yeah, I feel like the purpose of the spreadsheet has been achieved. Like now I'm aware of that, and now I just do it for fun. So, and it's like by year, and I have a different tab in the spreadsheet for every year. Maybe I'll show it next time if that's interesting. I don't really think that it would be, but gifts don't count because I'm not really in control over gifts. I have some gifts that I've received and I'm excited to show you. The first was a Hanukkah present from my lovely boyfriend, and it was a Hanukkah present that I suggested and asked for. And I wanted to make a cable sweater, like a really cabled sweater, in like bright color block sections. So I went onto the Jamieson and Smith website and I picked out like 30 of the colors that I thought would be really good for this. And I brought my laptop through to my boyfriend and he whittled it down to 8, but I didn't know which 8. And then he bought them for me, 3 balls for each color for Hanukkah. Did I already say that? I don't know. And yeah, so this is going to form my next like big project once I finish my MCAL. I'm so excited for this because I think it's going to be amazing. And every night of Hanukkah, give or take, we missed some nights were too. He gave me a different color, and in an order of his artistic choices, which I might follow some of, and I might do my own thing for some of it. And I decided on a pattern as well. I'll put the pattern name and designer and picture on screen. I think it's the Chunky Fisherman Raglan, which is a design that's for free, I think, and it has tons of projects. But I wanted to change the central column because the central column is a honeycomb. Maybe it's called honeycomb raglan. And I have heard that honeycomb stitches really cinch in, and I just want it to be like a big, baggy, not cinched in sweater. So I'm gonna sub out that central column for one that's looser. And I'm gonna make the raglan decreases not like even the whole way down. I'm gonna make it a compound raglan. And I don't have to worry about that until I get there because it's bottom up. It has to be knit in pieces for the color block to work in the raglan section. So and the pattern that I'm using is knit from the bottom up in pieces. Anyway, sorry about that information dump. And now let me show you the colors. So, last night was the last night of Hanukkah. So I have all of the colors now. Night 1, and I started. This was night 1. It's a really nice teal. Most of them aren't this marl color, dyed in the wool sort of thing, but 3 of them are, so that's fun. I love this color. It's really similar to this Botanisca Nutiden color. So that was night 1. I'll put them back here so you can see them all together. There's an idea. And I'm holding 2 strands together at a time, and I'm knitting it on a 4.5 millimeter. And I have not made a swatch, but I'm planning on knitting with a lot of positive ease, starting with the sleeves. So I will use the sleeves as a swatch. And the sleeves are not going to match color-wise. They're going to be different colors. And I will show you the yarn in the order that they are given to me. This is night 2, this beautiful pink. Is this going to even work? Are you even going to be able to see it if it's back here? No. Night. And then this was a part where I said, think about like color value, so light to dark as well when thinking about the order, because my boyfriend was putting a lot of thought into the order. This was color 3, which is like a beautiful dark purple. Can you even? 4 was this lime green. Are you seeing my vision? I think 5 was, okay, now I don't really remember what order they were in. This red. And then the last 3 were yellow, and then purple and teal. So let me just, oops, can you see all those colors? They're beautiful. It was so much fun to get them every day, and I'm very excited to start working on that project properly. Cabling really scratches an itch in my brain that I love, and once I finish this MCAL, it's going to be my main focus. And the bright colors are just so good. I saw, it was inspired by a project that I saw for the pattern that I'm making, and I wanted to do it and go further and do it on purpose. And I love this yarn. I've used it before and I really enjoy working with it. So that's my acquisition. It's really, really exciting. And yeah, even if I did put it into my spreadsheet, I would still be in the green for having used more yarn than I've acquired. I know that no one else cares about my spreadsheet, but it's kind of become a fixation for me. Okay, I will grab the other gift that I was given. So the sun is going down. The light's not so good anymore, but I don't think it really matters. This other gift that I was given is like maybe the most generous and thoughtful thing that a person has ever given me. It was given to me by my friend Bailey, who is one of 3 people in my real life who know about my YouTube channel. I don't know if she's watching it. And she grew up on a farm in Wisconsin, and she gave me some yarn from the sheep and the llama on her farm. And it's so beautiful. It's hard to I don't know, there's just a really nice present from a really dear friend. So if you're watching this, Bailey, thank you again. And also so much yarn, so I can make a lot of stuff. And it's all fingering or lace weight. And just like a really beautiful 2-ply. There's a couple parts where the yarn is broken. Down here, I think 2 or 3 places. But I'm pretty sure that it's not because of moths. So that's good. It's just like so beautiful. Oh, I have to keep showing you it. So this one is from their llama, PJ, who has died since this, but I'll make something from the yarn. And each color has about 800 to 1,000 meters. So this color is from the llama. And then there's this beautiful natural black. So these are all of the colors together. What a nice present. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have such a nice friend. And also a really nice boyfriend to give me this yarn as well. And it's made me quite emotional. So I have to decide what I'm gonna make. I will make something for myself, but then probably also something for my friend Bailey. And something really special. I don't know what yet. There's a lot of yarn, and I would probably hold it double because I'm all about the DK weight right now. I really like the drape and fabric of my stick season sweater, so I'm kind of sort of itching to keep that going. So like a 4mm needle, 4.5 even, and yeah, I think I can get that if I hold this double. It's just like really beautiful yarn. Like I'm thinking something like the Lucca Pullover by Sari Norland, maybe. I've also been wearing the crap out of both of the storm hoods that I've made. So I would make another hood. I want to. I always wanted another hood. The Lucca hood as well. It's a pattern that has caught my eye. Just look at this. Look at that. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna wind it into balls and weigh it, and I might do something marled, but I don't know. I really have no idea. I got this recently. It arrived in an unmarked, like, a box with no return address, so I thought that it was a present that I had bought for someone else arriving. So it was such a surprise when I opened it, because I was expecting for it, I thought I knew what was inside. And yeah, I didn't. So yeah, those are the 2 very beautiful gifts that I've received since I last saw you. I can't put this into my spreadsheet and still be in the green, but it's, you know, life isn't about the spreadsheet. And it was a gift that I didn't know about, so I don't think it even belongs in the spreadsheet, if you ask me. So yes, my plans for the next couple weeks, knitting-wise, finishing the MCAL. If I don't work on anything else for the next 2 weeks and I finish the MCAL, I will be very happy. You're gonna have to try and stop me from working on the color block sweater because I am so excited about that. And I want to do something with this too. But I need to think very carefully about that before I start, because I don't want to mess it up. And I still want to knit a red hat. Still on my list. I saw Claire from the Purlwise podcast made a hat that's designed by Hohi Locatelli that has a really cool, like, folded crown. And now I want to make that. I feel like I copy everything she does. That's why I first made the storm hood, because she was wearing one and it looked really cool. So, sorry Claire, but I might make that hat as well. But I want to knit it in a fingering weight, so I'll just do the crown decreases from that. And I still have the sailor sweater in mind to knit. That's been on my mind for about a year, so that'll be, I like to normally start 2 sweaters at a time, and they don't always get finished at the same time, but so those are probably my next 2 sweaters. The color block and the sailor sweater. Well, this has been a very rambly end, and for that I apologize, but I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you want to, and I hope that you're having a good time knitting and that your holidays are good, and I'll see you next time. Bye.